All right, this is it. The last of our seasonal patterns. Late fall, Steve. We're finally here. One season, we went through it all. What are we gonna do if it's this late? I mean, we're talking water temperatures are in the 45 to 40 range.
Yeah, I'm nowhere near 45 anymore, 40, 42. And it's getting cold. It's early November, first week of November here. And it's that classic steep and deep time. We've talked about it before, but this time of year, I'm really gravitating towards very steep things, things that go from 5 feet right down to 25 feet very quickly. If I show you this on the graph, you can see where I have my highlight here, Jeff. 0 to 5 is going to be your shallow water, and that's the red. 5 to 12 is going to be your green, and that shows you how steep these areas are. So a big flat will be a big shallow green area like that. I want to target these points that are very steep, so we have not a very wide band of shallow water there, and it drops very quickly into that deep water. And then right at the base of the break, you know, where that break comes down and hits that bottom, we call it the crease. It basically comes down, and when you hit that base in there, a lot of times this late fall period, those fish will relate exactly right to that crease. Obviously, if you get a warm day, you might be able to get some fish up on top of the structure, and we're always probing with that with our baits. But typically what I want to do is get right on this crease with my boat and run those suckers very tight. And then we're concentrating on these points. So I'm not wanting to be fishing big flats. I want to be concentrating on these steep points that stick out in deep water, and the fish will really gravitate towards these very specific spots. And the other thing that we do this time of year, Jeff, is slow down. So instead of running and gunning and hitting 12 or 15 spots in a day, I'm going very slowly. I'm fishing 5 or 6. Working them very meticulously. If I see a lot of life on the graph in a certain spot, even if I don't catch a fish there, it's probably a spot that I'm going to return to later in that same day. We're not running and gunning. We want to focus on very specific spots and work them very thoroughly.
With specific spots, are you doing mostly casting? Are you using live bait? Are you doing some trolling? What type of baits are we talking?
It all can work. I love casting and live bait. I always feel like that's my strong suit. I'm really good at it. I spend most of my time doing it. When I can run live bait perfectly in that crease and cast a bulldog up on that break and work it right down that break, can be very effective. But this time of year, you can also catch fish trolling. I have some good friends that do very well trolling a lot of crankbaits, but they're also targeting these steep breaks and then running very tight to structure. They're getting snagged up a lot. It's not just driving around, it's very targeted trolling. And then again, concentrating on those steep areas, but focusing on those points, or those points or fingers that lead out into that deep water, and that's usually where the fish will be.
Excellent. So there you go. That's late fall musky tips with Steve. Steve helped us out all season long, and we thank you all for your help with this season, absolutely. Steve. Next year we'll be back. We'll start sometime around May and give you some tips on seasonal strategies for early season muskies. But for now, we're talking late season, and our season is pretty much just about over. I mean, we have yeah, we have just about, you know, couple hours left of this season. We might have some fishing tomorrow, and there may be a little bit left, but it's pretty much over for us. So anyways, we thank you all for following along with us through our seasonal strategies this summer, and we'll catch you all next year. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please consider doing that. Thank you.